Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to Picks and Pours, episode 54. Today is Thursday, March 13th. We're just a few short days away from St. Patrick's Day. The one group of people on the planet that don't get offended by stupid shit. People dressed up as leprechauns and drinking green beer and dyeing their hair green. The Irish just keep taking it on the chin, while every other group of people are getting offended by everything. Anyway, we'll get into some fights. Before we get into that, let me introduce Matt the Mechanic. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, Bill? I'm planning on celebrating St. Patrick's Day this weekend. I'm going to put some corned beef on my smoker and turn it into pastrami. Now, I don't know if that's like a sin in the St. Patrick's Day world, but I don't care. I'm going to give it a shot.
The Irish are big on forgiveness for sins. And the one thing about them, and I think probably the reason they're known for alcohol, is that their cuisine is not great.
I would disagree. When I think of Irish food, I think of shepherd's pie and corned beef and cabbage, and I particularly enjoy both of those. I think is bangers and mash that's English, right?
Yeah, they eat it in Ireland too.
Yeah,
it's a lot of boiled food, which I'm not a fan of, like boiled potatoes, boiled cabbage.
I like the boiled cabbage, but I think I'm gonna switch it up and see if I can do this pastrami. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into a big piece of like wood.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I do love some Irish soda bread. But yeah, the corned beef and cabbage, my grandmother was Irish and I was just like forced to eat it growing up, and I just never really cared for it.
Well, that's a shame for you.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
I guess I'm missing out. I'd rather just have like a straight brisket without the corned beef seasoning.
Oh, well, I'll definitely be doing a tri-tip beside it on the smoker. I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket. But I was going to do a pork butt, but I don't feel like spending 12 hours. So.
Yeah. I really think that the whole, the reason why the Irish drink so much is like by the time it's time to eat, like anything tastes good. They're just like, oh, what do we got? Fucking boiled roots.
Think about it. Don't they boil their food because they had potatoes and cabbage and shit tough meat with all they could have, like all they have in that famine? So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh
yeah.
I'd say they made lemons out of lemonade.
Yeah, they made the best of it. Like, oh, fucking figure out how to make some good beer while we're at it.
They got some good whiskey. Terrible beer, but great whiskey.
Terrible beer? No way.
I don't know what. I can't even smell that stuff.
What, Guinness?
Yeah.
What about Killian's?
I don't know if I've tried it. I can't remember. I'm sure I've tried it, but I can't remember.
Smithwick's?
No. I'm more of a Shade Tree IPA guy from Crooked Thumb Brewery.
Oh, well. What about Harp? You probably like Harp.
Never heard of it.
It's a lager. It's very refreshing. It's a good one.
Well, if I see it on a menu somewhere, I'll give it a shot. But what do you do for St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm like, it's so like gimmicky and silly. My daughter got upset earlier because she found out that leprechauns aren't real, and she had built a leprechaun trap because she thought she was going to catch one this St. Patrick's Day.
You're going to catch a midget?
I might have to.
That'd be a great hire. Just hire some midget to be laying out.
Where's the corned beef?
Oh, dwarf. I'm sorry. Sorry, not midget.
A little person.
Little person.
Yeah. I find it amazing because I went into the grocery store today and they just had like leprechaun balloons with like rainbows and just stacks of Guinness. And it's like the Irish are one of the few groups that can still be openly stereotyped, I feel like. And everybody thinks it's fine. Like you go in and you see a leprechaun balloon and a stack of Guinness, you're like, oh yeah, St. Patrick's Day. You're not like, this is mildly offensive.
Well, I think we should move on before I totally derail the conversation.
I'm poking the bear. Yeah, let's move on. Before we do, I should have grabbed an Irish whiskey for today, but I was just kind of in the mood for this. The good thing about turning people on to whiskey and bourbon is that then you have like someone else out there who's like looking for good stuff. So my brother-in-law actually turned me on to this Old Bardstown. It's made by Willett. So you know the distillery that makes like the genie bottle whiskey.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff.
I don't either. It's shit. But this Old Bardstown is delicious. It's not a bourbon. It's a sour mash whiskey. 101 proof. It's like, it's got those like sweet cereal notes to it that I really like. You would like this one, I'm sure, because we're on the same page about Willett. I don't like the Willett pot still bourbon at all. I think the bottle is silly. I don't know how they even ship those things.
Have you seen the bigger, about like the 1.75 of that? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. It looks like a cross between a genie bottle and a bong.
It looks like a cool weapon from Elden Ring. You know what Elden Ring is?
No.
Okay. Well,
is that cool like a role-playing game?
Yeah, I got this.
Oh, Penelope? Which one is that?
The cheapest one, the straight bourbon.
What do you think?
It's good. I like this one. This is the one I keep around.
I'm a fan of Penelope. Although I've had some of their stuff that's not great. Like,
you know what my complaint is?
What?
It looks like it belongs on like a, I don't know, like a TikTok reel, or the bottle needs a little more manly in there.
Yeah.
But I get it. My wife, I'll get back in the truck and Stacy will look at me a little weird.
Wait, if you think that's bad, look at this one. This is their rosé cask.
Yeah, like when I get in the truck, every time Stacy's just like, "What is it? Like, what the fuck did you buy?" Don't
worry about it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's good stuff. It's just it's a bad label.
Yeah,
the bottle you had looks much better.
Well, so this was the only reason I got it is because it's a store pick from Liquor Depot. Shout out to Liquor Depot in Tampa, my favorite liquor store in the area by far. So whenever they come out with a bottle pick, if I'm able to get my hands on one, I will. So I trust the stuff that he picks. This one is good. What I hate about it is it's got this glass bottle topper that's really hard to remove. Like if you see now,
oh, it's all glass. Then just grab a cork and shove it in there.
Yeah, it's too small. Cork doesn't fit. But in any case, yeah, I agree with the labeling on the Penelope. They were recently acquired by Lux Row, which is a distillery that I really like. I visited them when I was in Bardstown. They make some really good stuff. Lux Row. They make Rebel, and some other good ones that I'm not remembering right now. Anyway, let's talk about UFC 313 because you actually came over to watch this one, you and the wife and a couple others. And I tried my darndest, Matt. You saw me. You witnessed it. I tried to give the UFC my money. I tried longer than everyone present wanted me to try. and they wouldn't take it. ESPN Plus was not cooperating that night, and apparently I was not the only one having this problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had that problem. Half the world. They kind of made it right with it. I mean, I guess it's for free now. I checked. You can go on ESPN Plus and watch it.
Yeah, but we all saw it already by some sort of magic that has nothing to do with the internet. You know, it just
Remote
started.
viewing.
Yeah, it just started working.
We just started meditating and we saw it.
It just appeared. You know.
Yeah,
and
I'm glad you invited us over to this one because it made it a much better card than it actually was. Thinking back to it, like I found that they put that Amanda Lemos fight on there almost offensive.
The best part of that fight was Joe Rogan calling Yasmin Lucindo a young man.
I don't know if the UFC has got the memo, but the DEI stuff has expired. Like, I'm all for a woman's fight to be on the card, but let's not just put one there because they need to put one there. Like, if they have a badass woman's fight, let's watch. It belongs on the main card, but let's not just make it a thing. Like, it doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, I agree, and it doesn't have to be on the main card.
Well, there had to be other female fights on there.
No, that was it.
Oh wow,
it was just the one.
Yeah, so just put it on where it belongs on the early prelims, and when we get some Thug Roses and some Shevchenko fights, okay, they can be on the main card, but we don't have to have a main card. To me, it totally just stalled the momentum that it had from Ruffy's awesome knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jalen Turner, just a downer. That was depressing. And then,
I mean, it was a slick submission, though.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was cool, but I don't know. You know how I feel about Jalen Turner.
Yeah, I know. That's your boy. Your brothers in Tarantula Hood.
Yeah, I hope he's all right, but he seems. I watched a video of him explaining it, and he seems like he's just moving on.
Didn't he say he wanted to retire?
He did retire. Yeah.
No, he's got to come back. He's what, 30 years old?
31. But he said he just wanted to. He felt like it's time to switch careers because he doesn't see him being a champion, and so.
Well, I mean, he's an intelligent guy. I think personally he might be better off at welterweight. That he's just so big. Like, that can't be an easy weight cut for him. How tall is he? 6'3"? Yeah, 6'3". Like, and it's not like he's 6'3" with a small frame either. Like, he's got some muscle on him, and if he just put on a little bit more, he'd be right in there at 170, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's the plan. Maybe he's going to go do something else while he does some other things, and come back in 2 years a totally different dude.
Could you imagine him and Colby Covington? He'd be towering over him.
Yeah, it would be neat to see him put on some major weight, and maybe he needs to step away for a bit to do that.
Yeah. Go, do your tarantula ranch or whatever, lift some weights. He's working with Matt Arroyo now, fix the kinks in your jiu-jitsu game. That's the guy to do it with, and come back stronger. As far as Bahamondes, man, this guy, he's starting to stand out in what is still one of the most stacked divisions. 3-fight winning streak, and the guy just keeps getting better. He keeps revealing layers of his game that we didn't know were there. Like, who would have picked Bahamondes by, submitting Jalen Turner off his back? a guy in Bahamondes who hasn't submitted someone since 2022, and it was a Brabo choke. So never had a submission off his back in his professional career.
So he made it up into number 15 after this, this week. So I'd like to see him he called out Hinata, which is not a bad call out at 10.
Yeah. And Bahamondes is no small lightweight either. He's 6'1". That's a big dude.
Yeah, that's about the only Benel Dariush or Gamrot is also there.
Yeah, I think anyone over 6 feet should have to be 170 pounds or higher. But that's the leprechaun in me talking. All right. We got to talk about Mauricio Ruffy. I was saying Huffy last week because I just assumed, Brazilian, you don't pronounce the R, but I guess it's Ruffy. It was a roughy night for Bobby Green. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I guess you don't pronounce the R unless it will sound stupid if you say H. Huffy doesn't sound right, so we're going to keep it Ruffy. But yeah, another
he's
fight
sound
nerd.
like a bicycle.
Another fight nerd that's just doing the damn thing. I mean, I was rewatching that knockout, showing it to a couple friends this week, and it's crazy how far that foot traveled to land where it did. And it didn't land exactly on point, but still did. Obviously.
Yeah, it skimmed off the shoulder, but still hit enough of the button to shut off Bobby Green, who we know has a chin on him. But yeah, bad night for Bobby Green. He seemed uncomfortable fighting another guy who fights with his hands down.
Yeah, it would feel kind of weird just kind of staring at each other.
He's like, damn, this is what people must feel like when they fight me. But now he's been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights.
Yeah, I'd like to see Bobby get on
years old.
Bobby wouldn't be a bad candidate for the other league we were talking about. What's the league that's coming around with all the veterans?
Oh, the geriatric fight league.
Well, there's some kids in there. What's it called? GFL.
Yeah,
geriatric fight league. It's not all old guys. Damn it.
But that's all the guys are marketing.
Well, yeah, because that's the star. You can't market the new guy. Hey, we have this badass up and comer.
Right, but it's guys that were stars 10 years ago.
I just mean Bobby Green. If it's working well, that he would be a good candidate for that. He could get some good fights. I don't think he's gonna. He's been around so long. He can still fight, but as we see, the new guys are way faster than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess he's kind of like a puzzle that's been solved now by the upper level guys.
Which might be what we watched for the main event too. The puzzle being solved.
It could be. Yeah, we can get into that. I think Pereira was so concerned with the takedowns, which helped him because he stopped all 11 of them, right?
Yep.
But it didn't allow him to really open up. Now, a lot of people had 1 and 5 for Pereira. I saw one scorecard from George Sheehan, who's like, I don't know, he's like a judge critic, and he scored 1, 3, and 5 for Pereira. I had 1 and 3 for Pereira, and I had 2, 4, and 5 for Ankalaev. But those rounds were close. It was not. It was an exciting fight in that the whole time there was the suspense of, something could happen at any moment, because, we saw what Pereira did to Adesanya in the 5th round of their title fight. But looking back on it, it's not a fight that I would say, oh, I need to go back and watch this one again. Like, it's definitely not that. Like, it was intense in the moment, but like it was pretty much a dud overall.
Yeah, wasn't the casuals. Good fight for the casuals, but if you knew what was going on, it was pretty. Yeah, you're on the edge of your seat, knowing what could happen, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it just never did because he was just always defending the takedown so
Yeah.
well.
And usually, like historically, the light heavyweight division has been like that's the fucking dude. Look at the history, like Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, um, John Jones. John Jones for the longest time. It's like that's who everybody wanted to watch, the light heavyweight division. And that went away for a little while and then kind of came back now with Padea. But with Ankalaev, it's like I don't want to see this guy defend a title. Like I don't want to see him just trying to cuddle somebody against the cage.
Yeah. I mean, like I said last week, this is definitely not what the UFC wanted to happen, but I like that it happened because I think it pushes the John Jones Aspinall fight forward. It nips the moving up thing in the ass. I think
Yeah.
I think Poetan needs to take a good. I mean, he fought 4 times in how many months?
Yeah.
7
Crazy.
months. Like,
Yeah.
take a year, go rest up, see where you want to go, see what you want to do. I think he deserves an immediate rematch, even though Ankalaev might get a fight in between there, I'm sure. But
Yeah, but who do you give him?
Yuri,
Not Khalil Roundtree?
it could be Khalil Roundtree because I saw Yuri he still needs some time because he's getting ready to trying to graduate high school. So
Oh.
I think high school over there might be college, whatever. But he's
Yeah,
doing something.
it's different. It's different on that side of the
He's
world.
he's got some school stuff going on that, like, I mean, hey, I guess that's good for him. I mean, it'd be interesting to know what his degree's in.
I kind of like how they do it in Switzerland. So my niece and nephew live in Switzerland, and there after 8th grade, you decide if you're going on to university, which is kind of like what we would call high school here, but it's kind of college for them, or if you're going to go into a trade.
At 8th grade?
Yeah. And like typically whatever track people pick, they stick with it. So if after 8th grade they decide I'm not doing school, I'm going to go into being an electrician, and then that's what they do, and they stick with it until they retire.
Hey, that's good, man. I wish when we were growing up, a trade wasn't looked down upon as much as it kind of was at that point.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I ended up in a trade and I'm doing just fine. I'm doing,
Yeah.
uh,
I have 3 college degrees that I don't use. Like I used them at one point. I did have a career where I was using them, but um yeah, it was pretty much a waste. And I only got that many because that's what was required for the field I was going into. And
yeah, I mean, I got kind of scammed. I went to a college in Northwest Ohio for my tech degree, and they somehow swindled me into going to get my bachelor's for no reason.
Cook's Auto World says the 8th graders here still wear pajama pants and Crocs.
Well, yeah, that was my other point. Is like, how the hell can a kid at 8 make 8th grade decide what he's gonna? Is
Um,
that kind of just a jumping off point for the slow kids, or
no. Well, they kind of at up to that point they kind of categorize them pretty quick. Everything's a lot more regimented there, and the kids are much more mature. Like my niece and nephew at 8th grade, that it's like having a conversation with an adult. Like they're very mature kids. Because everything in Switzerland is so serious. They're big on like rules. There's almost no crime there. Everybody just follows the rules and everybody does what they have to do. But everybody's just kind of blah. Like not a whole
sounds
lot of
terrible?
yeah, I wouldn't
Maybe
enjoy
that's
it.
why their hot chocolate is just meh.
Mm. Yeah. It's just a different way of life over there. But on the other hand, people are much healthier. Like they don't have um like all the foods we have with preservatives and all that shit. Like you pretty much have to go grocery shopping every couple of days.
Yeah, and they're always walking up them hills.
Yeah, they walk everywhere.
But they're also bitches. They don't take a side in any fight.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but that's how you stay out of trouble.
Yeah, no fun.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Um like the rest of it sounds good. Like, oh, no crime, everything is beautiful. You got the Alps. You can pretty much take a train in 30 minutes. You're in Italy for lunch. Like, um, it seems really cool. You could, and then you could go the other way and go pop into Germany for a few steins of beer, take the train back home. But people don't really live like that over there either. They're like super regimented, conservative kind of.
It's funny you say that. In 23, we were looking for a big trip. We thought we wanted to go ride the train in the Swiss Alps and check that shit out. And we watched this YouTuber do it, and we're
Yeah.
like, that looks boring as hell. Like they're still wearing everyone's wearing a mask. The one guy got reprimanded because he was talking too loud on the train. I'm like, nah, I'm not
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah. They got a lot of rules. But it is beautiful. Like one of my students just took a trip there. Um and he was sending me pictures, and I saw some clips on he has a YouTube channel also, and he put up some video of him, like he went skiing and stuff. But he made the mistake where he booked like this really nice ski resort and found out later that they had like no beginner hills. And he had never skied before. So he was just like, I saw this place had like the best rating, so I just booked it. And then he
You
went
couldn't do
and,
anything.
and
Couldn't
he's
do
like
anything.
he's like, I'm flying down this hill. Like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, I love skiing growing up, but that was in mid Ohio, so I've never really skied on big giant mountains. So I don't think the Swiss Alps would be a good place to start.
Yeah, it's gotta be intense. I've never gone skiing or snowboarding. I've had knee problems, so I don't like the idea of my feet being strapped to something, and then I just envision myself getting mangled. But I would love to go spend time at a ski lodge and just kind of
Yeah, it's easier than you think. You just kind of weave back and forth and just kind of, But that, like I
yeah,
said,
unless
that
you're
was
shooting down the Swiss Alps at 40 miles an hour.
well, you kind of you're going over snow, so luckily if you get going too fast, you just can bail and just kind of fall down.
Yeah,
But
until you fall into a tree.
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I can't comprehend that. I've been on ski slopes in the summer and wondered like, well, how in the hell do you get down there? But I guess, yeah, maybe it's a
Yeah.
young man's game.
Yeah, I'd say. And at the same time, there's probably a lot of people who ski that wouldn't do the things that I do. So, to each their own.
Yeah.
What else?
Well,
Let's talk about so Ankalaev's the new champ, and like I'm not that thrilled to see who he's gonna fight next, to be honest. It's just kind of whatever. If it's Khalil Roundtree, like all
Clear
right.
Roundtree's 7.
Yeah, but who else would they put? You got the rankings in front of you?
Yeah, they got uh, Yuri, Jan, Hill, Rakic, Oldberg.
They're all coming off of losses except Olberg, right?
No, Yuri just knocked out.
Oh, Jamal Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh yeah, I guess.
I think that's the fight. If he's not gonna fight Pierre next, that's the
But
fight.
then if Yuri beats Ankalaev, then we're gonna do Yuri Pereira 3?
Sure.
Or do we have Pereira move up?
Or maybe by that time, John Jones and Aspinall have settled
I
it.
I say, yeah, let's just forget light heavyweight exists right now. Let's move Pereira up. Let's give him Volkov.
No, let's give him a year to sit.
No.
Maybe get on that sauce.
I mean,
put on the weight.
He's probably already pretty saucy.
Allegedly. All right, I think we've better beat around the bush enough.
Yeah, so let's talk about Justin Gaethje and
we forgot
Rafael Fiziev. This fight pretty much went down like the first fight as far as the scoring, but what was different was the wrestling of Fiziev. But unexpected that he took Gaethje down a couple times in that first round, but I think that really wore down his power meter way too fast. And then
the uppercut just totally.
There was that too. Yeah, I think that second round should have definitely been a 10-8. And then it was pretty much all Gaethje after that. The third round, credit to Fiziev, like he came back from the dead in that third round because, that uppercut would have finished 99% of the fighters in that division.
Yeah, I don't think it really hurt Fiziev stock too much, but what it did for Justin Gaethje is put him right back in there now.
Yeah. I mean, he's calling for a title, and it's hard to argue with him. Like, who doesn't want to see Justin Gaethje fight, no matter who it is? So if you say he's gonna get in there with Makhachev, like, yeah, I mean, there's a good chance it'll go down the same way as fight with Khabib went, but
I kind of want
to stop fight. People from rooting for him.
I kind of want to see him welcome Topuria to the division.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Topuria gave up his title and moved up?
Yeah, he's moving up.
And he doesn't have an opponent or anything?
Nope.
That seems kind of strange.
I mean, must have just not want to make the weight anymore. I mean, if he knows he eventually needs to make the move, why not now? Why later? Like,
yeah.
I tell you what, why is the championship points, but I wonder what that does to Pierre's points for last week with the problems. He could probably, I mean, he'd have to sue to get that. I mean, he gets paid off the pay-per-view buys, and they just gave the damn thing away.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to pay him on the back end.
But who's going to pay him? The UFC or ESPN?
Well, I don't know. ESPN might see.
And then also, we're in the middle of negotiations for the streaming rights, and this has to be a huge thing in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to affect it. I hope they just move to, like, make it like $30 a month and get rid of pay-per-views.
They'll never do that.
Why?
Because I think they make a lot of their money through like pay-per-views at bars.
So just keep charging bars a lot to show it.
I don't know. I'm sure we don't know. We don't know all the ups and downs, but I would love it. And I've said for a long time, I'd pay much more than $30 for that.
Listen, me and a glass of whiskey can solve all the world's problems. I got a solution for everything.
Well, after you drink a couple more whiskeys and after your phone call with me, you can call Trump up and you guys can work on it.
Yeah, all right. You get him on the phone. You get him on the podcast, better yet.
I'm sure that'll happen.
Mr. President, I got some answers. Forget about these tariffs. Let's first fix the UFC pay-per-view issue.
Yeah.
And then, then we'll look at some other things. We'll look at war and we'll look at the economy and all that other bullshit. But for right now, let's just figure out the UFC pay-per-view thing. And
let's get Elon in there to trim up these cards because there's a lot of unnecessary things in these big cards.
Yeah, you're just going to come in and start firing people.
Yeah.
Doge takes over the UFC. Like, so Amanda Lemos, what is it you'd say you do here? Yeah. All right. Let's leave that one in the dirt. So UFC Vegas 104, I think. We're back at the Apex. You want to start at the beginning of the main card? Or what?
Brother, what's that? I don't even know if I want to talk about the star. I have 2 underdogs in the main event. You want to do that? I mean,
So what's the first fight? Is it Dayar Nurgaze?
I think it's up for contention, but I go off of Google's order. So the first one they say is Choi Seung-woo versus Kevin.
So Seung-woo Choi and Kevin Vallejos. All right, so 2 featherweights. Vallejos 14-1. El Chino, they call him, from Argentina. 23 years old, this kid is. His only loss was on Dana White's Contender Series, and it was a decision loss in 2023. Then he came back on the Contender Series and won by first round TKO.
Yeah, he knocked the dude's block off too. He knocked that guy head completely off.
And it's an interesting fight. Is this one of the ones you bet on?
No.
All right. Seung-woo Choi has lost 4 of his last 5. So Vallejo's got to be a big favorite here.
Minus 600.
Yeah. All right. That sounds about right.
I mean, I guess you could do like knockout round 1, but it's not even that good.
What's Seung-woo Choi by knockout?
Plus 1,000.
I mean, he's got
if you pick up knockout round 1's only plus 200.
He's got knockout power. He's got a little bit of experience advantage. He's been in there with some big names. You know, he's got wins over Yusuf Zalal and Julian Erosa. I wouldn't do it. Watch him go out and get a first round knockout.
Probably.
All right, so you're not picking that one. We have Dayar Nurgaze, who's 10-0 from Kazakhstan. Interesting. He's fighting Brenson Ribeiro. So Nurgaze has to be a big favorite as well.
Yeah, minus 375.
Okay. Not as big as
I don't have anything to say about this fight.
All right, moving on.
I don't know who they are.
Damon Blackshear and Cody Gibson. Anything on that?
I mean, Blackshear is a big favorite, minus 485. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Blackshear's he's got a ground. He's a threat everywhere. So I mean, I don't see Gibson being able to do much here.
No, this one's kind of a gimme. Alexander Hernandez and Kurt Hollabaugh. This is a good fight. These are 2 real kind of gritty guys. Hernandez back at lightweight. Any
this is one of my underdog picks here because Kurt is a plus 170. Hernandez is all over the place, and this last couple of fights he's just been trying to keep it standing, and I'm going to go with the Ultimate Fighter winner in Hollabaugh. Kurt to hurt.
Fair enough. Chidi Njokuani, who I was really excited when he came to the UFC, and he was off to a hell of a start. Came in through the Contender Series, big knockout with the elbows. Then he knocked out Marc-Andre Barriault in his UFC debut. Then he knocked out Disco Todorovic with an elbow, and then he lost 3 in a row. And then his last 2 wins were a split decision win over Reese McKee and a unanimous decision win over Jared Gooden. But he's a guy that's like just so explosive and used to be so fun to watch when he was in Bellator. I really enjoyed his fights there, even though he was kind of hot and cold there as well. And I loved watching his brother fight too, Anthony Njokuani. However, Elizu Zaleski dos Santos, this guy's a beast. He's coming off a first round knockout win. He has a loss to Randy Brown, who, Randy Brown is on a hot streak right now. And he has a draw against Rinat Fakhretdinov. That guy's also a beast. And he has a close decision loss to Muslim Salikov. So those are the only dents on his resume over the last, few years. But he has a win over Benoit Saint Denis. He has a win over Abubakar Nurmagomedov. And a first round knockout win in his last fight. So I think they're looking to springboard Dos Santos here.
Maybe. What do you think the odds are?
I think Dos Santos is probably a -200.
Bam. Ding, 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 ding.
Really?
205, but close enough.
Jay, shit. I'll take that.
This is another underdog I'm going to take. I didn't put much thought into it. I didn't spend much time researching this card, but this is when I looked over this fight, I'm like, I like Cheaty here. I think I always loved his clinch game, and I'm just hoping he can use that.
Yeah. I mean, he can definitely pull it off. I mean, these guys, their experience almost identical. They have Cheaty's got 34 fights. Zaleski's got 34 fights. So,
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of fights. All right. So let's get into the main event here. Supposedly this is a rematch. I can't remember these two fighting for the life of me. I have to.
Did Dolidze win?
I'm gonna look it up right now. No, Vettori won. So this was at UFC 286 back in March of 2023. And then Marvin Vettori hasn't fought since June of 2023. And he does not look right. Like I saw him doing an interview, and it looks like his nose doesn't belong on his face.
Are you talking like since like recently or just always?
No, recently. Like, I don't know if he's always looked like that, but I saw him doing an interview, and I'm like, it looks like somebody photoshopped a different nose on his face. Now, I don't know, why has he been gone so long? Do you know?
I don't know. In my mind, I thought he was cut, like cut from the roster, but I haven't heard anybody mention that this week. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it looks like he's had some nose work, but every time I think of him, I think of the fight pictures he took with the shorts on backwards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's in his last 6 fights, he has 3 losses, but they're to Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya, and Jared Cannonier. So 3 top 5 guys. Dolidze, TKO'd Kevin Holland, beat Anthony Smith. He hasn't fought since October, so not nearly as long of a layoff.
Does he have like a long-time trainer, or is he one of those guys that jumps around?
I think he jumps around with other dudes' wives.
That's not nice. Yeah, right here's a picture of it. I wish I could screen share the picture of him.
I mean, it is what it is. He stole that guy's wife.
No, I guess I'm not familiar with that.
They're both in the UFC. Bays. Their last name is Bays, but it's spelled Buys.
Well, that's not cool.
Yeah, it's not.
Maybe he was an asshole too. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just going to give the advantage to Marvin here because of it's being 5 rounds. I mean, I kind of remember not just in the fight against Vettori, but Dolidze tends to get tired. And
yeah, and Vettori is he's a tank. He does not get tired. I think a fight,
unless Roman can get him to the ground, because I don't think Marvin's doing shit off his back. I mean,
no.
unless he spent the last 2 years.
Dolidze does have some. He does have a creative submission game as well.
I don't know. I just don't see anything working until he's just eventually tired and Marvin's just keeps the momentum going. He's a minus 155 favorite, by the way. Marvin is.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Because they kind of have to put him as a favorite because he beat him. But it can't be a huge favorite because he's had a long layoff and he's lost 3 of his last 5. So,
oh man, I gotta have my popcorn fucking ready for this card, man.
yeah. I'll probably just be working on my chicken coop, to be honest.
What time does it start?
It's at the Apex, so it's probably
7.
usual time.
Nice.
The
so
main
that's
card?
the one thing. Yep. So
Main card starts at 7.
Yeah, it's got one thing going for it, huh?
All right.
And
now you're speaking my language.
And Vettori is saying that his extended layoff was due to a shoulder injury.
Oh, okay. Here's the fight I want to talk about on the prelims. Waldo Cortez Acosta and Ryan Spann. So Ryan Spann is moving up to heavyweight, which is interesting to me because I want to see how he looks, because he looked like a very fit 205er. But he's 6'5", like he's a big dude. Like I want to see how he's going to look at heavyweight. I'm kind of curious by this one. Submitted Oven St. Preux in his last fight, 3-fight losing streak before that. So I don't know. Do you think he just moved up because heavyweight is a more empty division?
I mean, I would if I was him. I mean, the other division's much harder. You guys having trouble with it? Give it a shot. He can always go back down.
I guess so. I'm definitely interested in that. Not a whole lot else going on this card.
Nope.
Yeah.
Did you see the Des Moines card they announced this week?
No.
It's May 5th, I think. But it's Corey Sandhagen, Figueiredo, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a fun fight.
Jeremy Stevens got re-signed with the UFC and is going to take on Mason Jones.
Okay, I did see that, and I have a question for you or anyone who may know the answer. Is Jeremy Stevens the first person to transition back to the UFC from bare knuckle? Anybody?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. The other big notable fight on there is Bo Nickel versus Renner de Ritter. I think we knew that one already, but Marlon Vera's on there.
The MMA holes say, I'm not sure if it's because of the edible or not, but the guy on the left looks like a living Nintendo Wii character. Your left, my right. So is it? I don't know. I can't tell who's on your left. I see what I see. I see me on the left.
I think Nintendo's known for its clean lines, and you look much more like a Nintendo character.
Dun, 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 dun. I've been breaking out the Nintendo Wii lately. My daughter loves it because I told you she wanted a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, so I just got red and blue controllers for the Wii. She didn't know the difference.
Well, that's me. Hello. I'm Zelda.
All right. So you're the Wii. You're the Wii me or whatever they called him.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been me too, to be honest. I just got that like made in Japan look to me today. Yeah, so is Jeremy Stevens the first one to go over to bare knuckle and then come back to the UFC?
Yeah, I'd say yes, probably.
He's
or at least the first big name person.
Yeah, he's the first one like of note. I mean, the UFC would probably take Mike Perry back.
Yeah, he's been trying. I don't think so.
Oh, has he?
I'm not even sure if bare knuckle will take him back.
They say it's meant as a compliment that you look like the Wii character. Speaking of bare knuckle's coming to Clearwater May 2nd at the OCC Roadhouse and Museum. I can't wait to see what that venue looks like. I will be there one way or another. I did put in for the media credentials for us, but nice. They don't get back to me until the week before, usually, or like 2 weeks before. But local guy Jared Warren in the main event against Joseph Creer. So Warren coming off a loss in the title fight, 7-3 in bare knuckle against Joseph Creer, who's 3-2 in bare knuckle. So that should be a fun one. And then our buddy Royal Ryan Reber is going to be just below the co-main event. He's of course coming off of his disappointing loss to Alberto Blas for the 135-pound title. He was on the show right before that event, and I was in attendance for that one in Hollywood, Florida. He's going to be fighting the undefeated Matt Gaiman.
Man, I just looked up a Wii U character, and the MMA holes are correct. I do kind of look like that guy.
Let me see. What are they called? Like avatars? Or
I just searched Wii U character.
And which image did you go with?
I don't know. Kind of both of them. Just kind of the hair and the glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's not the edible.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I see it. I see. There's one that's coming up for me that has like almost the exact shape of your hair.
Yeah. Is he wearing a red sweatshirt? No glasses?
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up. I don't know how to do all this shit. The MMA holes are the ones that are good at doing this.
And I'm not the co-host. I'm the guest picker. And Bill is not the producer either, obviously. I think he froze. His internet's so bad that it couldn't share one picture.
I tried to pull up a picture and I almost shut down the whole show. All right.
Yeah,
So
that's well too. Yeah.
here's Matt. Here's Matt the mechanic. If we combine these two, like if we put the glasses on this one and just gave it blonde hair, like that's you.
Whoa, look at that smoking mama on the left.
Oh yeah. I might have to go spend some time with the Wii.
Yeah, what a terrible
After
system.
hours. Wii after hours. I like the Wii.
Yeah.
We've been having a good time with it. My daughter loves Mario Kart.
I should have brought over. You can give her a Switch. I have one for her. I don't use it. It's so much better. I don't.
She thinks the Wii is a Switch, so it doesn't matter.
It'd be a big surprise.
No, this kid doesn't need to be spoiled any more than she is.
It's not spoiled. It's like 6 years old. Like it's not that good.
No, she's spoiled with the 15-year-old Wii U.
Come on, Bill.
I was trying to get a refurbished Smash Brothers. What's it called?
Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, the fighting one. I think she'd be into that.
Yeah, well, they have a really nice one on the Switch.
Is it like $15? Because that's how much the Wii U one is, I think.
No.
See?
But the whole thing would cost you, I think, the game's $80. I'll give you the system. You'd be beating each other's ass in no time. But you're gonna need a large TV for that.
I have a pretty big TV.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this card, Crystal Pittman is also on this card. She also fights out of Shift. And I believe she's the girlfriend, fiance, wife, something of Jared Warren, who's fighting in the main event. So I'd like to get Jared on here for a chat. I'll have to reach out to him. I've interviewed him before, but he's never been on the podcast. So I just kind of did like a street talk interview with him at an event in Orlando. Put that on social media. Speaking of which, Instagram has taken down like a bunch of my audio. So if anybody knows how to get in touch with somebody from Instagram, please let me know, because they told me that it's like forbidden audio or something, and they took the audio off my post. It's literally me interviewing people. There's no music or anything to it. It's just me talking to another person and them answering. And they cut the audio out of it. And I contacted Instagram and like reported and sent the link to every post that they did it to, and just crickets. Haven't heard anything back. They just stole the audio from those posts, and I would repost them, but I can't find the video for any of them because I'm horrible at organizing my video files.
Well, maybe you can talk to Trump like you're going to talk to him after this. You can talk to him about how if you're going to run a company in this country, you need to have a line where you can talk to somebody and a real human picks up.
Yeah.
Because, you can't reach out. You can't have a problem on Facebook and just call someone.
No. It's total, what is it? Oligarchy? What's the word I'm looking for?
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Elon Musk needs to buy Instagram now too, because this shit wouldn't have happened. My audio wouldn't have been taken down if it was on Twitter. I don't use Twitter anymore though. I don't know if it has anything to do with him buying it. I just kind of I used to be very active on Twitter, and I just kind of lost interest. It became like too toxic for me.
Never had a Twitter account. That's wrong. I have one. I maybe tweeted or whatever that is twice.
Twatted.
But
I
just never got into it. I've got into Facebook. Now Facebook looks like a bunch of my grandparents arguing about things.
Yeah,
Instagram
it's sad, especially on the neighborhood channels.
yeah, Instagram's like just showing me like either OnlyFans girl that a dime a dozen, somebody dying,
Well, your algorithm's fucked up then.
or like some post that's meant to upset me. So I'm gonna try and get off of that too. But
See, my Instagram feed right now is all like fucking chicken coops
crunchy
and
moms.
and fighting stuff.
I mean, I get that stuff thrown into.
I get a lot of big asses too. That, those always get mixed in.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Male.
Male ass.
Yeah, just like fucking giant male asses. Mark's still here. He said all he's seeing on Instagram is Thai girls in bikinis. I hate
So
to
what?
break it to you, Mark. Those might not be girls.
Yeah, what's your authentication process in that?
Yeah. Are you able to see enough to know that they're for sure girls? Because in Thailand, most of them ain't.
I mean, we could. Maybe that's just the way of life over there. It's maybe they don't try to hide it. Maybe it's just like, yeah, I'm a boy. I don't know.
Mm, I don't know. I think they sneak it up on you. Not until they see the whites of your eyes. Mark says after a few beers, it's all the same.
Don't think so.
Yeah, you need a little. With one, you need a little more third-party lubrication.
Booze. A little more booze.
Yeah, more booze. Same thing.
Yeah. Internal lubrication on both ends.
Internal and external lubrication. All right, folks. I didn't mean to get into a biology lesson here.
Yeah, it's late.
Yeah, we're going off the rails. So thanks to anybody who stuck around this long. Anyway, I got distracted because I'm looking at this guy on the BKFC card, Alex Castro. He's completely tattooed, like from the top of his head, not his face, but like everything else. And it's like a lot. Like it's dark colored in. He must have a few hundred hours of ink time. That's
Who
impressive.
knows? These days, you just get put under, and they just have like 5 guys come in and do it all at once, or girls, I guess. We don't discriminate here.
Yeah, it's the last thing I want is to be put under and then 5 guys come in. Apparently, Mark wouldn't mind.
Just give him a beer or two first.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to. I want to go to that BKFC card too. It's a nice,
Yeah.
a nice. It's the. Have you ever been to that bar before?
No.
It's the perfect place. I mean, as long as they set it up right, that's the perfect vibe for a BKFC event. I mean,
I'm looking it up right now. The OCC Roadhouse. Oh, it's just a fucking bar.
yeah, it's a big ass bar. That's like they have. uh they have like 90s and 80s rock bands there all the time. Like it's a biker bar. It's the perfect vibe for
I've been to quite a few BKFC events. I was in one that was in the banquet hall of like a hotel. And it was so strange. It was like carpet and then like the Hard Rock in Tampa, and like they have like a small venue room. That was really cool. Um the fairgrounds, like they've done like just all kinds of venues. Let me see. I'm gonna share a photo of this Roadhouse here. Yeah, you see it's just like they got TVs on there's just like metal beams going throughout the place.
Well, I think that's like the fights will take place in the concert hall, which is, if you're looking at the picture all the way on the right, which are the beams, it'll be behind where that picture's taken. I think on the seating chart,
It
the
wouldn't be in this
tables.
area where all these people are line dancing.
I can't see that. Well, yeah. So
Oh, wait.
I think it'll work. It's a good, fucking Jackal plays there, so it'll work.
Who plays there?
Jackal, the band with the guitar or the chainsaw for the guitar.
No.
Oh. Yeah, go back. Yeah, behind where the trees are, that's a big giant open area, and I imagine that's where the fights will be. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
It looks like a very Florida crowd.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Harley Davidson dealership right. They share the property basically.
Oh, okay. So they've had an event here before.
Yeah. It's owned by, Paul Tuttle Sr.
Who's that?
The OCC, Orange County Choppers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's OCC Roadhouse. He packed up his shit in New Jersey and moved down here and opened up the Roadhouse.
Orange County Choppers. I got it.
Yeah, it's the perfect place for bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He's the guy with the white mustache?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his son moved his operation somewhere around here too. Like, they're both, I don't think the old man's making hogs anymore, but he's selling chicken wings and promoting fights, I guess.
All right. Hey.
Kind of took the Hulk Hogan approach.
Good for him. Yeah, first he took his mustache and now he's taking his business model. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be there come hell or high water, so it should be fun. Ryan Reber's been in the gym with us a bunch, comes in on Wednesday nights. He's looking real sharp. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him perform. And then Jared Warren, friend of the show as well. And then his wife or girlfriend or, whatever their entanglement is. She's going to be on there as well.
And the dude with tattoos.
Yeah, and the guy with all the tattoos. So go figure, a bare knuckle card with a guy covered in tattoos. One of the first in history.
It'll be interesting to see if they announce Jeremy Stevens as a BKFC veteran when he steps back into the UFC cage.
I doubt it.
Yeah. We can only dream, right?
Yeah. Although I think Dana White and Dave Feldman are pretty friendly.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not trying to poach it. He's doing a different thing. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a crossover with the fans, with the fan base. A little bit.
But you're watching something different. So you're not trying to, you're looking for, you have a different target fighter.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of people out there that are just bare knuckle fans and they don't watch any MMA?
I mean, I know of 2 of them, but that might be because of actually Mr. Ryan Reber. Just one of both of them are customers of him. That's a small world type of thing. But
so do they just watch him, or they're fans of the sport?
No, they watch the sport. Well, they watched him, and then they started seeing the other stuff, and I told them about Dave, and then they had access to the app, so I showed them a couple fights to watch, and it's pretty cool. But they like it that the fight usually don't last as long as a UFC fight. Like it's much faster paced thing when a fight's going and not too, because they just cycle the fights through faster as well.
Yeah, that's true. All right. You got anything else you want to get off your chest? All right. So again, I'm drinking this Old Bardstown Sour Mash Whiskey. If you're trying to find that or any other hard to find or allocated whiskeys, check out the Whiskey Library. And if you do, use my link. That'll be in the show notes soon after this episode is published, wherever you happen to be consuming podcasts. And wherever that is, I hope you're subscribed, have your notifications turned on, and whatever else I'm obligated to say as someone who does shit on the internet. I don't know. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm not on OnlyFans, but if I was, you guys would all subscribe, I'm sure. All right. So that's all we got. UFC Vegas 104 this weekend. Check it out. Ryan Spann moving to heavyweight. Should be a good time. Marvin Vettori, Roman Dolidze in a rematch of a fight that nobody remembers. And that's all we got. So until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.